Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Sunday Summary. I'm your host, Kyle. With me, as always, is Steve. Steve, good morning to you. How you feeling, man? Arne Slot at the reins officially. First interview came out. You excited, bro?
I actually am. Yeah. Good morning to everyone in the chat. I am actually kind of surprised by how I feel about it. Like I'm ready to rock and roll with this guy.
Ooh, elaborate. Why are you surprised?
It's just a change of scenery. It's been the same thing for so long. Jurgen Klopp is obviously an absolute legend. But it's time for change. It's time for change.
I like it. Now, when you were watching it, did you get the same feeling? Did you kind of get Let me ask it a different way. When you were watching the interview, were you as encapsulated might not be. Were you as captivated as when, for example, you're listening to Jurgen Klopp talk?
Probably not. But there's no doubt that this guy is the right man for the job, at least on paper and through this first interview. And then, of course, what other people have said about him, especially Feyenoord fans.
Right.
So that's good. We kind of knew, we heard rumblings that, he's well-spoken and he's a great person to have at the helm. And I think so far everything's pointing in that direction. But when Jurgen spoke, it was just different. He was just more, I guess, fun, if you will.
Yeah. Arne Slot seems very matter of fact. You know what I mean?
But I also think I think he's going to be very similar to Jurgen. I just think for this first interview, he
a little cagey,
a little bit, a little conservative, if you will.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Which is totally fine. He's got a job to do. He's busy. He's swamped. You know what I mean? It's probably the last thing he wanted to do, if we're being honest.
I think it's funny. They started out the interview. They're like, "How are you feeling? Are you excited?" He goes, "Well, I'm pretty energized after that holiday. I got to be honest." It's like, all right, okay, fair enough.
We talked about that last week. The guy's been on vacation for what feels like a year.
Yeah.
He was announced as the manager like a month ago.
Yeah, fair. But
so,
I mean, he was with his family, taking that. I don't even know if it was a month break. It's only been what, a couple weeks
since he became manager.
Oh, he was announced.
3 weeks.
Yeah, June 1st. Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Over 3 weeks.
Yeah, you're right. Holy crap. Good morning to everyone in the chat. Hannah, Liz, Tony. My mother's in here. Good morning to all you guys. Can Kiwi. Shout out to everyone. Apparently there's going to be some concerts at Anfield. What, Taylor Swift, and then what, Pink's coming? I did not even know Pink was still touring. She's still touring, man. I used to love Pink.
Pink's got to be in the game now for 25 years.
Dude, she has, yeah, I agree, because she was making music in the 90s.
Yeah.
She is. Would you classify Pink as a legend? Just going off topic a little bit.
I think she's in the conversation.
She's got to be in a pop conversation for legendary status.
I mean, I'm not a fan, but I'm not a fan.
I get what you're saying. She's no Taylor Swift.
She's definitely not Taylor
Swift.
She's no
Taylor Swift.
There's no Taylor Swifts out there.
No.
Anyways, moving on. Beverage of the week.
Beverage of the week. Hit me, Steve. What do we got?
This week we have Cool Blue Gatorade Zero.
Sorry.
I tried.
All
right. No free advertising. This is my go-to drink of choice on the golf course. If I feel like I need a little extra hydration and I don't have liquid IVs lying around. Refreshing. Tastes great. I recommend everybody give it a try if you haven't.
So is there a thought behind going zero versus, normal cool blue?
Just a little healthier, I guess. 0 sugars.
So you're just getting it.
I'm just getting it a little healthier than the rest of you.
I love it. Absolutely love it. So you've been on the cool blue kick. Any other flavors you'd recommend of Gatorade Zero, Steve?
Blue cherry. It's the darker blue. It's darker than the regular blue.
Blue cherry.
Yeah. So there's cool blue.
Hot take.
Then there's blue Gatorade, which I don't know the name of that one.
Frost. Or is that the lighter blue?
Or Frost maybe blue cherry is the blue, but it's almost like, it almost looks purple. It's very, very good. Very, very good. There's a lot of good ones. Cascade Crash. That's the purple frost.
You're speaking a different language to me. These I've never heard of.
You've had the purple frost though. It's light purple.
I've had purple frost.
Yeah.
I've had frost. I've had grape. I've had fruit punch. I've had orange. But
this is the blue one actually. Cool
the
Blue
names
is
you're
the blue
saying
Gatorade.
are absurd.
Cool Blue is the blue Gatorade. Actually, now that I think of it. And then the frost ones, there's Cascade Crash and something else. But that one's more rare. You could find that you'll probably find that more so in like gas stations rather than your supermarket.
Interesting.
But yeah, that's the light purple one is out of this world.
And now those of you over in the UK, I see it's not Light Aid. It's called something else. It's not Gatorade. It's like help me out, Tony and Hannah. It's called
what's that called?
It's Light Aid? Not Light Aid. Lucozade or something. Lucozade. Is it the same thing? Is it just a branding thing? You guys got to let me know. Now, Steve, going back to Arne Slot, he told us about the pronunciation. Honestly, I didn't get a clear answer from him. I don't know if
Arne.
Yeah, I didn't get it's Arne, but he said I know that's hard for people, so people call me Arnie. Arn.
I think Arn is the safe bet, or Arn. Not like but like you just accentuate the N.
Yeah.
You really drill into the N.
Arne.
Arn. You give it a little oomph.
Okay. Well, look, I can get behind that, but I'm telling you what, it's going to be 2 weeks, and we're all calling him Arn. I'm telling you that right now. Everyone on the planet's going to start. It's so easy.
Arnie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That works. I'll be surprised if everyone does. But I'm a little upset I didn't get a clear answer on that. That rubbed me the wrong way. But in terms of everything else I got from the interview, you had said you were kind of surprised on how you felt about, feeling pretty optimistic. I like how matter of fact he was. I like how he was just he wasn't really joking around, maybe like you said, a little bit more conservative. And hopefully that personality of his will come out more and more. But I think the good thing about it is that he's treating it very professionally. You know what I mean? He's not very casual coming into this. He's like, look, I've been successful at my other clubs, but I'm coming to Liverpool. And he even said other Premier League clubs contacted him, and he said he said I'm going to stay at Feyenoord. But when Liverpool, the same exact thing Klopp said. He said when Liverpool came, I'm going. That's pretty sick to hear.
Yeah, I mean, also I didn't know Premier League clubs came knocking last year. That was a surprise to me, but I mean, not a surprise. It was just, I guess, new information. But you got to think about who it could have potentially been. You know what I mean? It could have been like Everton or
Aston Villa. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking like Aston Villa or, you're right, Everton.
Well, Aston Villa already had Emery. So
Crystal Palace, maybe. Spurs, Hannah says.
That would actually make sense.
God, Spurs will take anybody.
No, seriously. But when you get a chance to manage this club, he's actually head coach, which is funny, not manager. But when you get a chance to lead this club with its history, how big the club is in this league, with the supporters and Anfield, that's a big thing too that I don't think was touched on too much. But it's a no-brainer.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter where you are. There's probably only a few clubs that you could say, okay, I'm not going to leave this to go to Liverpool.
Madrid.
Yeah, if you're in one of those scenarios.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Like a Madrid or a Bayern or.
I thought you meant instead of Liverpool. Okay, I get what you mean. God, I was going to say something else. Someone else touched on it here. Building on what Klopp has already done. Dang it. I forgot it. It escaped me. But Oh my god, I'm really upset. I completely forgot my train of thought there, but hopefully it will come back to me. He, I think, will need some time to adjust to the league, bro. I as much as I don't want to say it, as much as I want to say he's going to come in, he's going to use the players he has, and we're just going to be great again. There's going to be some time to shift tactics. I know Jordan said here, he's going to build on what Klopp has already done. And Klopp left the club in a great state. You have a great, great youth academy. You have great players that are in that no man's land between the youth teams and the senior teams that are just being loaned out and getting better. But then you look at the senior team, great, great players. So we talked about this last week. Depth should be our focus, I believe, going into this next season. Maybe not necessarily big name signings that are immediately going to come in and start, which we talked about as well. There's very few players out there who would come in and start over our existing starting 11 now. Build depth so you can take on the cities, right? You don't have to worry about it. And I think that will take so much weight and burden off of Arne's shoulders. I think he's probably going to be stressed about performance. And if you have depth, it just came to me. The head coach versus the manager thing. What did you think about him saying that? He's like, I'm actually the head coach, not the manager. It's interesting, isn't it? It really highlights how much more power Michael Edwards has now. Are you muted?
Yeah, I was. I don't think it's much of a
You haven't
difference
done
at all.
that in like 3 months.
It's the same damn thing. People are still going to call him the manager. But yeah, whatever.
So okay. So you don't want to talk about that at all. I understand.
I don't think there's much to read into there.
I think so.
It's
Not
his
like
title. It's his title. I bet if you might look, I don't know the answer to this, but I bet if you looked around, there'd be some other clubs that have a head coach position as
But
well.
I wonder why that is, though. Right? I mean, he explained it a little bit. He kind of was just like, the head coach is more of I can go in and implement my football tactics and do what I want, right? And Tony says I'm still calling him the manager. So am I. I'm not calling him the head coach. We're too far gone for that. But he had mentioned the other guy, not Michael Edwards. Is it Phil Hughes? Why do I want to say Phil Hughes? But I don't think that's it. He'll be working. Richard Hughes. Thank you. They're going to be working together to bring in players like when it's needed, but only more so as kind of like an afterthought if he's needed. So I think that's another thing that's going to take the pressure and the burden away from him. Maybe this is what burnt out Klopp, Steve. The fact that he had all these other aspects of the job that were just a lot of burden put on to him, and it burnt him out quicker. Maybe now Slot's just given that responsibility of, hey, do your job on the pitch day to day. We'll handle the other stuff. We'll call you in if needed.
Yeah. I guess that makes sense to me. I want to go back to something here. Shout out Tony. Legend, channel legend. Tony says, my main problem is he's not Klopp. It would be the same no matter who they brought in. And that was in response to how did you feel listening to him? Roughly, the question you had asked me.
He put this in the Discord group as well.
I don't think I agree with this, Tony. And the reason why is because you have to think about who he is, where he's come from. For example, I would ask Tony, would you feel the same way listening to Jose Mourinho if he was hired for this role? Or Antonio Conte? I don't see that personally. This guy has not been tainted or bounced around big clubs like some of these other guys. Sorry, Emery, you name them, right? A million of them. So I think this is a little bit more interesting and a little bit more like how we felt when Klopp came in. I think it's a little bit more exciting than those guys because we've seen those guys all over the place have success and also fail. we don't really know what this guy is capable of doing. We know he plays a similar style. We know he gets great reviews and comes in high regard. But I think listening to him, I think, is much different than a lot of other managers that we could have gotten or that we were linked with. My 2 cents.
No, I like it. I like hearing your 2 cents, bro. That's why you're here. Just want to give a quick shout out to my dad here. It looks like he started his own YouTube channel, Let's Talk Music. And guys, if any of you are into rock music or Pink Floyd in general, check out the last 30 seconds of Fearless. All right. Shout out to my dad for doing that. He's been talking about doing that for a while. Jordan Welch here says Ten Hag at Man U is now the head coach. Yeah, well, dude, real quick, let's take a little sidebar here. What the hell is going on? How are you going to announce before a final that Ten Hag's not coming back, and then after the final, call him back in and be like, hey, sorry, we kind of want you to stay? I'd be like, screw you.
He is lost all credibility because of the way this was. Now, at the end of the day, we don't know what they actually said to him. To my knowledge, it was always up in the air. And they were going to make a decision after the final. Now, those rumors did drop before that final that he was done. But it wouldn't make sense unless they wanted to give him some sort of boost. It wouldn't make sense to tell him, like, hey, we're firing you before a big match like that and distract him.
That's a dark way to motivate someone, though. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't be surprised. That's how much help I feel it. Like, you go to those lengths when you're Man U playing in a final like that, where you're completely outmatched. And they pulled it off.
They did. They pulled it off.
But, like, generally speaking, they're not supposed to win that match. They lose that match 9 times out of 10. Seriously.
Oh, my God. There's a line from the other
They probably
guy.
had a 10% chance of winning that match.
There's a line from the other guys where he's like, you bring your lion family into the habitat of tuna. It's like you lose that match 7 times out of 10 or something. That's all I thought of when you said that. I don't know. Oh God. Yeah, shut up. I got movie quotes just going through my head 24/7. You have no idea what it's like. Okay. Tony says I would protest if Mourinho came in. Steve, you and I talked about this before, bro. He would have been the only one manager that has been tossed around Europe that I would have been like, okay.
Yeah,
all right.
I wouldn't have been particularly over the moon or ecstatic about it, but I would have accepted it because I get it. Now, it's not a long-term solution. Like, you're never going to see Mourinho go to a club and stay there for a long time again. He's going to be a guy that gets bounced around. But his pedigree, like, look, it's gotten to the point, and I've talked about this a lot, and you've given me crap for this. It's like, we need more trophies. Like, the culture, the club itself is such a beautiful thing. Jurgen Klopp was an absolute legend, but we came up short too many times. And I feel like if you bring in a guy like Mourinho, you're basically saying, okay, we have all of these players. Think about I don't know, just to name a few. Salah, Virgil, Alisson, I don't know, Trent, whatever. They're not going to be here forever. We need to capitalize on the fact that we have them, and we need to win trophies. And that guy wins trophies. It's just what he does. I wouldn't feel proud to call him my manager. I wouldn't feel great about it, but I think we'd win trophies. We have to keep winning trophies. Coming up short's not good enough, and we came up short way too many times. We should have had double the amount of trophies that we won with Klopp. If in my sincere opinion, we should have won 2 times the amount of trophies we won.
I won't really debate you on this anymore because you know where I stand and I know where you stand. But I know there's a few people out there that agree with you and that are very set on the fact, like, hey, we didn't capitalize, you know? And I'm just more so taking the optimistic viewpoint. That's all. It's not that I disagree with you. It's that I just have a different viewpoint. Like, yeah, we came up short in the Champions League final. First time we played Madrid, we 100% had their number. We were without a doubt the better team until Salah gets injured. And and then you talk about God, I'm like getting them mixed up now. Like Karius was in the first final. So maybe not. I mean, you look at it that way. But then the second final, it's just you go up against Tottenham. Like, would it have been different? Like that Tottenham final was just boring, but we ended up pulling it out. We got the trophy. That's fine. But we just kept meeting Madrid in the final, man. And you know where I stand on that. I want to transition over to Jamal Musiala. And Steve, we were talking about this prior to going live, and you were very matter of fact, like, hey, we're not getting this guy. Okay. Now he's currently the top goal scorer at the Euros, and his future at the club, referring to Bayern Munich, remains a tough one. And Liverpool remain among the several Premier League clubs tracking his progress, and him suggesting he is open to a return to England. Now, Bayern Munich has a firm stance on this. Jan Christian Driesen confirmed at the start of last season that the club wanted to keep hold of Musiala for as long as possible. And speaking to Bayerischer Rundfunk, I don't even know if that's a typo or a real person. He said, Jamal is already a fantastic footballer. He's incredible qualities. He'll do well to keep him for as long as possible. It says he provided a brief update, and this is Musiala. He said, my contract runs until 2026, so everything is very relaxed. I feel very comfortable at Bayern at the moment in the team under Thomas Tuchel. For me, the coaching decision was important. I want us to play good, attractive football and compete for the title in the Champions League with a good team. I want to play in an environment where there's a good feeling and the boys are happy on the pitch, because then I can also show my qualities. Very vague, honestly, doesn't even touch on the transfer itself. There's not really anything here to go on, Steve. Do you have any thoughts after hearing any of that?
I just don't know why he would leave.
It doesn't make any sense why he would leave. It wouldn't.
When you think about where he's from, like, he's German and he's playing there. So
doesn't he have English heritage too, though? I'm pretty sure like he used to be English at one point.
He may, but the only reason I could see him leaving is because he wants to play in a better league. Like, players want to play in the Premier League, or some players want to play for Barcelona, Real Madrid.
Sure.
Right? But there's probably only like 4 teams that he would go to that are arguably bigger than Bayern. It would be City, Liverpool, maybe United, Real Madrid, maybe Barcelona. You know?
Could you see... Why do
and
I see
he's also his market value is 120 million, so you're gonna have to probably spend more than that. He's not coming here.
That was one of the links, is that if Liverpool get him, they'd have to break the record. How many times have we been linked with a player like that? It's not happening, bro. Especially not with Michael Edwards there. We're not going and getting Jamal Musiala.
I would like it. Look, we never do this, but what about a swap deal of sorts?
It's too complicated, I feel like, because it's not like a trade. Everything has to match up, from the salaries to the fee and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure.
I don't think it's that complex. This is what they do for a living.
Well, then
why? I could run some simple napkin math right now.
Well, then why doesn't it happen more, Steve? The last swap deal I remember was Mkhitaryan and freaking the other dude who went the other way.
Literally, the reason I thought of this is because there was just a swap deal for Douglas Luiz, Juventus, and Aston Villa.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Fair enough. But even so, I mean,
but we're not spending 150 million on this guy. But like I said last week, they're talking about him with the same pedigree as Mbappe when he was at Monaco. That's how That's how highly people think of him, just like Bellingham.
Bellingham
But
is unbelievable, though. God, Bellingham is so good.
so I don't think we're getting him. I think the only team that could potentially take him away from Bayern is Man City. But I was reading an article that the pending charges are giving people some caution because that trial, if it hasn't started already, I think it's supposed to start in August. That's what they told. That's the last thing I heard, or the last thing I even paid attention to. And that was probably 3 or 4 months ago that I heard that.
Yeah, no, I think you're right.
If Doug's in here, Doug will know. Guys, in the chat, let us know, when is that starting? The Man City crap. Because if I'm him, I'm just going to stay at Bayern. I'm not going to go to Man City with all these variables in the air.
This is 2 hours ago from the Liverpool Echo. Oh, there's another Premier League claim emerges. So obviously the 115 charges. It says the case is to be heard by an independent commission later this year, with City also in a fight with the Premier League over associated party transaction rules, relation to sponsorship deals, stop pop-ups. I'm trying to read something. A number of clubs will be monitoring developments closely. And let's see. Okay, it says, and yet it appears as though the 115 charges may actually be 130 if calculations by financial expert and former City advisor Stefan Borson are correct. 115, this is a quote, is actually straight away is 130. But because of an early error from the Premier League and early media briefings, it became 115. It's the most serious allegations. The last year he wrote on Twitter, accompanied by a graphic detailing the charges, pedantic point, that's a new word. The fact that 115 charges is trumpeted means it likely came from the PL's media briefing, because it isn't 115 on a normal counting. It is 129 or 130.
Even better.
Dude, how
let's just keep dragging it out.
How are they getting out of this?
They're not.
How? You all right?
They're just prolonging the inevitable.
Can you see a world, bro, where they actually get in trouble for it? Can you?
Yes, it's going to happen. It has to.
God, I hope so. God, I hope so. That would be so awesome.
I'm sorry, but they don't bring in enough money. Like they bring in money, but it's not like United money, Liverpool money. You see their parades, dude, they're dead. They have no fan base.
Nobody cares.
No one cares. Like, the rest of the league will not care if they go down. It will not be a big hit to viewership. It'll be a hit, but not like that. Not like you think. I want to pull this up really quick. So your dad says, so someone from the Floyd is an LFC fan. Fun fact. Actually, I don't know if this is a fun fact, but I was at a Hootie and the Blowfish concert the other night at Fenway Park. Shout out to Hootie. Probably my favorite band of all time. The drummer was wearing an LFC kit. A current LFC kit. I think it was Darwin. I think he was wearing a Darwin kit.
Oh, what a legend.
Yeah.
That's pretty
electric.
Sick.
That's all I have.
Haha. All right. Shout out Stellar. Appreciate you. Now, moving away from Musiala and going to, Leny Yoro. Okay. Look, the latest news is that despite the interest from Liverpool and several other clubs in the Premier League, Yoro he's waiting for Madrid to come in. I'm also seeing links that Madrid might not make an offer of 40 or 50 million euros or whatever Lille are looking for. Now, I did watch some highlights of this guy because, again, had no idea who he was, and literally until probably 2 weeks ago. And this kid's pretty good, man. Really, really talented young player. And, I'm just really tired. It really bothers me, although I understand it. It really, really bothers me. And we talked about this last week, how many players recently have just gone to Madrid that we've been linked with, because we're the two top clubs right now. I mean, it seems like. And everyone just wants to go to Madrid, man. Just give us one. Just let us have one victory, man. Just give us one.
I don't like I don't feel like we're missing out on these players though. Like obviously Casado became a signing we're glad we didn't make, but
Right.
in that moment I felt like we missed out on him because we made a real bid, a large bid, and he chose to go somewhere else. Bellingham, I don't know if there was ever a formal bid, but I felt like we missed out on him.
We
A lot of
definitely
these
missed
other
out.
guys, I don't even know if we've bid for them or if we just make some calls and inquire about their availability and their status. You know what I mean? If we make a bid for someone and they go to Real Madrid, then I'm like, dang. Because we're so selective. It's not like we're bidding on 20 players. We bid on like one every 6 months.
You're
And a
absolutely
lot of
right.
times we get them.
The
So,
probability of the transfer to Liverpool as of right now, the current rumors, according to Transfermarkt, is only Liverpool. There's no other clubs linked right now, and it's a 7% probability at this point in time.
yep. And I was looking at that earlier, and we're not even listed for Musiala.
So these
And
are
never have
all
been.
we're just it's everyone's grabbing at journalism specifically, looking for something to connect the dots, just reaching, right? Musiala might be available. He has English citizenship. Boom, let's link him with Liverpool. That's all it is. Who
I
knows?
wonder if that's all it is. It seems sometimes like that's all it is. It's just a
I think,
shot in the dark.
yeah, I think let's just throw shit at the walls and see what sticks. That's what I think it is, man, because I feel like at some point they try to almost plant these ideas in not only fans, but the players and the agents' minds, right? And then the player might see this article and be like, "Hey, do you think there's any chance I could go to Liverpool?" Or, things happen like that. I don't know if that's the main, motivation behind it, but dude, this guy's only 18 years old.
Yoro?
Yoro's 18 years old, Steven. Oh my God.
Is he better than Kwanzaa?
That's a great
Like, can
question.
we pull up a comparison and look at the numbers?
Of course we can.
Because the other thing to consider here is they're similar in age, number one, and he played against lesser competition, Yoro. So is Kwanzaa worth 50 million?
No chance he's worth 50 million.
Exactly. So I don't want to splash 50 million on this guy. Now we do need a center back, so whatever. Pick him up. But
Kwanzaa would lose game time if you bring in Yoro. Because there's no way he's coming here to sit on the bench. But I will be
no,
honest.
he would come here to sit on the bench. That's the thing. He's not good enough to start. That's why we're not. That's why I don't see us splashing 50 million for him. That's why I wish we would have kept Matip. Because then we have 4 starting caliber center backs at that point if we would have kept Matip. Now we got to deal with these links until probably October. It's ridiculous.
Dude.
And I'm right.
No, I know you're right. That's why I'm laughing. What is the average lifespan of the links with a player? It's got to be 6 months or a year. I mean, Mbappe lasted 3 years, right?
Bellingham was 2 years.
Lasted 2 years. Tchouaméni was
Werner lasted 2 years.
My God. Even when he was a flop at Chelsea, he was linked with moving to Liverpool again.
Yeah. What a joke that guy is.
God. What has he done since going back to he went back to
Nothing.
Leipzig. Right?
And then Tottenham.
What?
Wasn't he just at Tottenham?
Sad. Was he at Tottenham?
Pretty sure he was just at Tottenham. Maybe on loan.
I don't even know anymore. These players are just literally just getting tossed around Europe.
Yeah, just unreal.
Tony, if you want high wages, go to Madrid. If you want football, go to Liverpool. I mean, Madrid are playing good football right now. There's no denying that. And Stellar said this is basically what we're talking about with regarding Musiala. We ain't paying 100 million plus for Musiala. Okay. Now, if we look at defenders, Steve, if we're talking about like legit links, I feel like you're looking more at like a Colwill, even though that seems like that ship has sailed, right? You're looking at like an Inacio, or we were talking about the Leverkusen links with like Hincapie, right? Those links to me seems so much more probable. And who knows, there's likely a player out there that we don't even know exists that will come in, because that's just what happens. And I see the wheels are turning up there. What are you thinking?
I'm trying to see who else we're linked with right now.
The main ones, Musiala and Yoro, but then you look and we actually have some other links. But again, let me just click on Liverpool real quick, because usually the current rumors will pop up and you'll see, although sometimes they're not as up to date. Okay, I love transfer marks, bro. Liverpool have reportedly had an opening bid worth of 50 million for Lille defender Yoro rejected. Now, this was June 17th, so this is when everything kind of started. I remember seeing this, and I just don't know if I believe that, even though that's usually what we offer.
I'm looking at these wingers right now. These links right now. There was a link for Rafinha. June 10th.
I did see that. Yeah, I did see that. Don't even talk to me about Rafinha, dude. That guy, that was just annoying. We were linked heavily with him too, and he goes to Barcelona. He's actually pretty decent at Barcelona. But Nico Williams. Not Nico Williams. Is it the Athletic Club? Athletic Bilbao winger is another one I'm seeing.
Iñaki?
No, his brother, his younger brother. There's Iñaki Williams and his younger brother. But is it Nico? Is his name Nico too? I want to say you might be right. Let me see. It just might be spelled different, because I saw that link and I'm like, no, don't tell me we're buying back Nico Williams. Yeah, it is Nico Williams. Okay. So this kid, 21 years old, left winger. Hey, bring him in. If he can convert more than Luis Diaz, pick him up. 60 million this kid is worth. And he made the Spain squad. That I remember he started. Now, the current rumors, it's Arsenal and Bayern Munich are the top two that are linked with. He has a 58 million euro release clause, this guy. Why am I seeing links with him with Liverpool then?
Okay. Riccardo Calafiori. Italian. Plays for Bologna. There was a link for that today.
Player. Is he
There's
Italian?
A link for that today. Yeah.
All right.
There was a link for that last week and a link for that today.
Spell his name.
Center back.
Spell his name.
Calafiori.
I did see this one too. I saw this one as well. Ricardo, okay, 22 years old, 30 million. All right. Let's see what else. Like you said, and he can play. He can even play left midfield, left back.
He's played every minute for them in the Euro so far,
and there's an 82% chance of going to City. It looks like so, 82% chance of City, 36% chance of Liverpool, 51% chance of Juventus. So he's being linked with all the fraudulent clubs and Liverpool. Who do you think he'll choose, Steve?
Probably a fraudulent club.
People are just so fucking stupid. I can't fucking stand it. It really pisses me off.
Well, is he going to play at City? That's the thing. Like, I don't even know if he certainly wouldn't start here.
City have bought 5 center backs in the last year.
It's crazy, man.
Let us get one.
Akanji, Vardiol.
Those are really the only two.
Stones, Ake. I mean, Stones kind
of. Stones, Ake, Ruben. Not Ruben.
Yeah, that guy. That's
Ruben Diaz.
Diaz.
I mean, but they've just Vardiol and Akanji were the two latest ones, and we were linked with Vardiol. We were linked with Ake. I'm not losing sleep over Ake, but I'm just saying. Now, oh man, this guy, I don't know much about him. I really don't, but this guy would 100% be a depth player. And his value, Steve, hasn't skyrocketed until he went and made his move to Bologna.
Is he right or left-footed?
He's got to be left if he's playing. Yeah, he's left-footed.
This makes sense.
I want to see if there's any links. He doesn't have any transfer links. Oh, yes, he does. Yes, he does. I just said him. Okay. I would like to see what the chat has to say about this. Shout out Will Farrell. Your run from 2002 to 2010 was unmatched. Can Kiwi says, I would take Nico. Okay. Williams' buyout clause is $42 million. From what I just saw, it says 58, but who knows what to believe. This is another one I haven't seen anything about recently. I saw it maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. Was Bakayoko. We've been linked with him from the Klopp days. Let's pull him up.
This guy Williams, he's a winger?
Williams, yes. Left winger, plays for Athletic Bilbao, and he's the brother of Iñaki Williams, as we talked about.
Right. Why would we buy a left winger?
Because there's links with Luis Diaz going to Barcelona. So when those links happen, everyone jumps on the wagon of, ooh, let's link a winger.
Yeah, it's so BS because Jota, Nunez, and Gakpo all can play on the left.
And another thing that people don't realize is how loyal a lot of Bilbao players are. Very rarely do these players leave the club unless, one, their release clause is met, right? You look at who's the keeper that flopped at Chelsea? I'm forgetting his name.
Kepa?
Kepa, thank you. You look at Kepa. It was bought a week after Allison for like 73 million. It was the release clause, right? And then Inigo Martinez made the transfer. I don't know if he went to Sevilla or maybe he went to Barcelona. But again, these players, Bilbao runs their club completely differently than every other club in the world. So these players are making buku bucks at these clubs at Bilbao. I think I read something about this, and I don't want to speak too much on it because I don't remember the specifics. But from what I remember reading, and I can't confirm this, bro, but these players make like 400,000 euros a week. And it's because all of the money that the club makes on transfers, they immediately put back into the players, like paying the players and the facilities and things like that. Bilbao I respect that club so much. So,
all right. So there's 2 guys that make over 200. It's Nico Williams and Iñaki Williams. Everybody else is under 100. So you must be thinking of a different club.
Maybe I. Thanks for putting me in check there. I appreciate it. So Johan Bakayoko, 45 million euros. This one, I could see more. He's linked with Man United. Where's the Liverpool rumors?
They don't exist.
He's a right winger. So why would he come in? Unless Salah leaves.
Like, sure, we could take another attacker, I guess. We had problems with finishing this year, but let's just get a center back and breathe for a second. Like,
get a center back. And plus, dude, Gakpo is incredible on the wing. He's not a center forward. He can play there, yes, but Gakpo is better on the wing. And I know a lot of people look at a 6'4" player and they're like, he's not. I don't like him on the wing. Gakpo is just better on the wing. I don't know if it's a confidence thing, like when you're cutting in onto the right foot and you have the sideline at your back, you're just feeling a little bit better. Maybe I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Simple, dude.
It is more simple. There's a lot less room for error when you're playing out there. But I just think watching him play for the Netherlands over this last week, he's good. He's really good for them on that left wing. Now, the other winger, Somerville, that's another one I saw. Let's bring up Somerville here. Crescencio Somerville. Irish fella. Let's see. He's actually Dutch. 23, 24. So 20 million euros. He's Dutch. Wow. 43 appearances, 19 goals, 9 assists. Now, this is in the championship. Keep in mind, guys. Liverpool, 35% chance of making the transfer there. He's being linked with Brighton and Chelsea as well. Chelsea. I just don't understand.
They've already bought, I think, 2 players.
Chelsea?
Yeah.
And remind me, who are those players?
They just got a guy for 19 million from maybe Aston Villa.
Chelsea did?
Yeah, a guy that's played like 58 minutes in the league.
Let's see.
They just bought him for 20 million.
Okay, so this is from Fabrizio Romano, by the way. Oh my God, this is really funny, actually. So there was a tweet. I don't know if this is a tweet or a post or what, but it's not from a reputable source, but it says Somerville won't be joining the madhouse that is Chelsea, more likely going to Liverpool and Arne Slot. But according to Fabrizio Romano, Chelsea and Liverpool are still keeping a close eye on Somerville's situation at Leeds. Both clubs have been monitoring him this season, showing interest in recent weeks. Nothing advanced yet, but talks for the Dutch winger are expected to begin soon. So what would blow my mind is if honestly he made the move to either. Because did Leeds get promotion or did they miss out?
I don't know.
That's a great question. Hey, guys, who got promoted this year? I know Ipswich Town did. Shout out. I think it's Ipswich.
Okay, so Chelsea got Maatsen from Dortmund. That's right. Or maybe they already owned him and he's coming back.
No. Maatsen might be going back to Dortmund.
Okay. They got Tosin from Fulham. Center back.
Tosin, Jesus.
He was free transfer.
Yeah.
They just purchased this young kid for 20 million and there was one other.
Either way. Somerville, right winger. Again, if you're going to buy him, because really we don't have any depth at right wing, Steve. I mean, yes, you could play Diaz and Jota there, as we've seen, but we don't have anyone who's a pure right winger to back up Salah. Even though Salah is usually always available, there was that period this year after the after AFCON where he was out for what, four games, a couple weeks.
Yeah, I think we won them all.
Did we really?
I think we did fine. That's when Endo was balling.
Oh, that's right.
All right, so real quick, Chelsea, because this is a Chelsea channel. These are the people coming back from loan for Chelsea.
Oh, God.
So all the players that are coming back. Hakeem Ziyech. Kepa Arrizabalaga.
Oh, Jesus.
Couple guys I don't know. Lewis Hall coming back from Newcastle.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Lukaku coming back from Roma. Ian Maatsen coming back from Dortmund. These are players they loaned out.
It's just nuts.
It's absurd.
Oh, man. Another thing I wanted to bring up, shout out to Liverpool 67 for jogging my memory on this. We have Carvalho coming back. We have Carvalho coming back in the midfield or left wing, but he was playing on left wing, but I feel like he's more of a midfielder. He even talked about in an interview how he's more comfortable as a 10.
I feel like we could have used him when Szoboszlai kind of decided to just be average.
Right, of course. And that's all I'm getting at is that you have that depth. And if you're going to be competing for all the trophies, right, you want that person in depth to play in the FA Cup, EFL Cup, things like that. And I just want to touch on a comment here from Nishith saying, first of all, you shouldn't be trusting rumors you find on Google. And of course, we're not. We're not trusting these. We're just chatting about players that are linked, right, to see if there's any probability in there. Now, you're talking about these links like they were just random. We're talking about players we've been linked with for months, years. You know what I mean? Like Somerville, we've been linked with for a while. And honestly, it looks like he's more likely to go to Chelsea anyway. Like Liverpool's not even on the list, according to Transfermarkt. So,
Also,
and I'm
we
not
don't.
even. I'm not
Welcome.
even.
You must be new because if you've watched this show before, you know I don't care about any of these links. I don't care about any of them. I don't
Yeah.
believe any of them until there's a report from Fabrizio Romano. It's just locker room. It's just chat.
It is. It always is. But it's the fun part of it, right? Being linked with all these players. And the thing is I don't know where these journalists get, like, they obviously have connections and networking and stuff like that. But to me, it's just like, how do you know that a team is reached out or made a bid for a player? Isn't that stuff usually under wraps anyway? Unless you're Romano. Because Romano, you talked about it. There was a guy who didn't even tell his wife, and Romano knew about it.
Mm-hmm.
So you're right. Unless it's Romano, Ornstein, O'Connell, or is James Pearce even in the know anymore with Liverpool?
Yeah, but I think he's more of a. He's not dropping breaking news. He's
He's
more of a
more of an
writer.
article guy. Yeah, he's a
Yeah.
writer. Exactly.
Ever since Stephen and I believe after the photos have been posted in the official social media, you got to be careful with that too, because didn't photos get leaked of Fekir? I mean, maybe they weren't posted on our official social media, but
Bro, they
he
did.
took photos.
I still need to figure out what happened with that.
Yeah, it fell through because of the medical.
Why has nobody, maybe I missed it. Did anyone ask Klopp in an interview, of the thousands of interviews he's done, just say, hey, what happened with Fekir?
Guaranteed they did. Yeah.
Oh, man. So I'm just waiting for Paul Joyce. Doug, shout out to Doug. How's everything going, man? 90 LFC here says, no one knows who we will get. Liverpool keep it to themselves, and I'm sorry, Fabrizio's a fraud. Can't believe you two believe this Muppet. Bro, whatever you say about Fabrizio, the dude has he's maybe jumped the gun with the Casado stuff. He jumped it a little bit. When has he ever been wrong? And when you say fraud, do you mean like he just regurgitates other people's reports?
He's undoubtedly the best in the world. So if he's a fraud, they're all frauds, which I'm cool with. I can get behind that they're all frauds, but certainly not Fabrizio compared to somebody else.
See, I don't know. I feel like, I mean, even Hannah here says Fabrizio just throws enough at the mud at the walls to see some of it sticks. I
don't think he leaks anything unless he's sure.
Bro, and even if he does, right? Just say he says talks have begun with Somerville and Liverpool, right? Even if say that's not true, or he finds out it's not true, or something falls through, he immediately comes and says talks have ended, or whatever. Stryker says the only guy to trust is Ornstein. Now I do agree with that, but I wouldn't say it's the only guy to trust. I'm telling, man, I don't know why Fabrizio gets so much hate. I think the dude's on top of it. What's David Ornstein been up to?
Ornstein.
David Ornstein's getting 8 hours. Fabrizio Romano hasn't slept since 2006.
No, seriously.
I typed in David Ornstein, and Mo Salah is the first picture that pops up. I mean, he's reporting on Chelsea having talks with Jonathan David of Lille.
Yeah, I think he's a general reporter.
Yeah. So I mean, I was getting updates on the Douglas Luiz deal. Oh, here you go. He was Chelsea close to agreement with Aston Villa to sign Omari Kellyman. Is this the one you were talking about?
Maybe. The guy that hasn't played at all.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah, I think this is him. 20 mil.
Yeah, I mean, dude, David Ornstein, he has been grinding, but he's not reporting on the same things that we're being linked with. He's reporting on Olise, right? Chelsea pulling out of the race for Michael Olise, and saying that he chooses to join Bayern Munich instead of Chelsea, which good. That's so smart. Good for him. Not going to Chelsea or Man United.
Philip says Fabrizio gets stuff wrong at times. Yeah, no, I mean,
Of course.
he's
No one's
human,
perfect.
but I think he's the most reliable. And it's just exciting, dude. The way he reports things is exciting.
Yeah, what is it about?
Like, I back Fabrizio Romano. Like, he's the guy. We've been saying that for years. Ornstein's getting some love in the chat here. People like him.
I like Ornstein too.
He's a great reporter, but he's not Fabrizio, in my opinion.
Yeah, I
It's
think he's
just
up
my
there
opinion.
though. I think he's up there. I mean, when you think of reporting, you think of Fabrizio Romano, but David Ornstein, you know what?
He's making a push.
He's making a push. He's top 3.
He's trying to get in the mix. He wants to be in that conversation, but there's levels to this. Fabrizio Romano is known worldwide as the GOAT. It's just all there is to it. It's a simple fact.
I'm just waiting for him to get something brutally wrong, and then we can talk about how he's not the GOAT.
But you're allowed to get things wrong.
You are.
Like, if we go digging through Ornstein's Twitter, I bet there's a bunch of errors in there.
Stryker says Fabrizio posts the same thing 3 times, just worded differently. It's so annoying. Well, dude, who cares? Like, he does. I know exactly what you're talking about as soon as you said that. But so he's reiterating it. He's like, look, this is happening. Let me update it for you. Like, the dude is just grinding in front of the keyboard. All he's trying to do, he might be being exhaustive, but he's keeping you updated. He will tweet though, bro. He'll be like, update, no changes or something. No progress forward.
He's not the GOAT.
I've heard this a lot. Melissa Reddy. I to be fair, I have not given Melissa Reddy enough credit, and maybe I should start.
Again, all the news these guys, any of them are breaking.
David Lynch. Why is no one saving? Maybe David. It's because David O'Connell's a writer, but I like David O'Connell too.
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking like 3-4 years ago, it was all James Pierce.
Yeah.
Like, before Romano blew up and became what he is today, people cared about James Pierce. As it pertains to Liverpool. Yeah, of course.
I even reached out to him at one point and was like, hey, can we get you on the show?
But I remember we could get him.
I don't know what happened, but fans turned against him at one point. And it was a few years ago. He reported something and it was just completely wrong. Maybe he jumped the gun on a deal. It was Thiago. You're right. So what happened again?
I think he reported that we weren't in for him.
Oh yeah.
And then we bought him.
But like, that's a positive outcome.
It is.
It's like people holding a grudge. It's like, oh, you're wrong.
But like you're literally like, he damn near worked for the club. Like, how do you get it that wrong? Not Liverpool have lost interest. Like he basically said Thiago's not coming to Liverpool. I don't know. Who cares?
And you know what sucks? Is there's a chance that it's his source was the issue, not him. There's a chance that the source he was relying on for that information gave him the wrong info, but that source is like a quote unquote black market source or shadow source. And now James Pierce loses his credibility. So then he makes the jump to The Athletic to start writing because he can't report anymore because he's not getting any credibility. The GOAT in American sports is
Chef for the NFL.
Yep. And then the NBA guy, well, God, what's his name?
I know who you're talking about.
I cannot think of his name. Shibs. Is it Shibs? What the hell is his name? God, you're going to say it and I'm going to be pissed off. Say it.
NBA?
Yeah,
Shams,
That's what it is.
Sharania. I
Yeah.
actually didn't even get to look it up. I was responding to a text, but it's Shams. When you said Shibs, it clicked.
Yeah, it was close, but yeah, we have like two guys, and it's all legit. It's all legit. But it's different. Transfers and news is different in the US. Usually it's like the report comes out and then a deal happens. It's not
It's
like
not
this.
nonsense.
It's not complete bullshit for 27 months until something happens.
And for those of you that don't follow some of the sports that we follow here in America, I wish you could experience that. Like authentic news.
Be careful, sports news.
Yeah. No. Authentic
careful.
sports news. Like if there's you're right, Kyle. Like they talk about a trade happening. There's a lot of trades. Like there's very rare swap deals in Europe, but a lot of trades happen. And it literally, the news comes out and then the papers are signed the same day.
Yeah. It's quick.
And there's like 3 or 4 team trades sometimes. It's actually really cool. But you don't have to wonder or go looking for news. You just get an update on your phone. Beep, beep. That something has happened.
Woj. How did I forget Woj?
Adrian Woj, yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. There's so many. That's too many sports. That's the problem.
Yeah. No, Woj, he's the one. I trust Woj. God, crazy stuff, dude. All right, Steve. Wrapping up all this chat about the transfers here, things will develop throughout the summer. Now that Slot is actually, once the Euros end and the players are back, that's when he's going to see what he has, and I think he's going to meet with the backroom staff and the actual guys who are making the decisions transfer-wise and say, hey, look, this is what I think I need, right? Now, whether or not he gets that, I don't know. Michael Edwards will ultimately, I feel like, has the power now to make these decisions. And I think maybe he'll have more power based on what I've read and his new role at the club. But I don't think anything will happen here for the next couple weeks, at least. I think we're waiting until the summer.
Yeah, I think once this tournament's over, we might see some stuff happen. Until then, we're just going to keep chatting about nonsense.
But it's fun.
It is. Stellar says, I don't see more than 3 signings. I'd be surprised if there's 3. I think we'll get 2. We'll get a center back and maybe one other player.
I think we get 2 signings as well.
Romano's coming back. I'm not Romano.
Romano, bring him back.
Sign Fabrizio Romano, will you?
Dude.
The last thing I'll say is Alexander Delos says, what's a trade? So trades are basically, sometimes there's cash involved. Like in Europe, when you see a swap deal, it's like player A, player B, plus cash. A lot of times it's basically this player is on team A. There's another player on team B. They want the other player and they just trade them. So team A takes on team B's new player and contract and vice versa. It's literally trading one player for another. Sometimes it's 2 players for 1 player or 3 players for 3 players.
It just has to match up with the cap because we have a salary cap here. So as long as you don't go over the cap to sign a player or in a trade, it works out. So that's why
trades are really cool because we don't have to necessarily with the other sports here in the United States, you don't really have to think about like the price of someone. They're already under contract.
Yeah.
90% of the time, they're already under contract. You already know what their salary is, and you just trade the player.
You're not buying. Like, you're not saying like, hey, I'll offer you this amount of money to get this player, and then
that never happens.
A whole new contract, right?
Yeah, that never happens.
Steve was saying, their contract just rolls over to the next team. You just absorb that contract, which is kind of interesting, unless you're a free agent, of course. But it's just weird, man. It's so different, and I think it's different because of the salary cap, Steve. I think if there's a salary cap implemented in European football, the game would change completely change. I don't know if it would make it more level or what, but so yeah, closing thoughts. Let's just enjoy the Euros. I think in 2 or 3 weeks' time, we'll have some more solid links on what Arne Slot really does need. and we'll go from there, Steve. I appreciate you being here. Guys, thank you everyone so much for your contributions to the show. Make sure you subscribe and like the stream if you enjoyed the podcast today. And Steve, until next time, take care.